what are they going to opt to go for? It does seem like the Roam and the EXP are normally the first picks, right? And they're normally some flex picks, right? And if we don't see a Guinevere ban here, Blacklist is probably going to want to opt to go for the Guinevere if I had to guess. But again, it's a little too soon to say. What do you want to see, Trex?
I mean, the Guinevere's definitely been probably one of the most first picked heroes so far. I think mainly the flexibility. We've seen it in Roam. We've seen it in Jungle. If you really wanted to, you could maybe stick it in the EXP. I don't think we've seen that just yet, but there's just a lot of possibilities. And with a team like Blacklist, the possibilities are endless. But no Guinevere this time. It's going to be taken out. Fire Flux going to throw that into their second band. So we're immediately trying to change things a bit. You mentioned Roam. With no Matilda, does Blacklist just kind of keep it simple like that and go for something like the Tig? The Diggy's also still open right now with a heavy CC meta. If Fire Flux decides to leave that open, it could definitely be something we see within the first range of drafts.
Definitely. And I think it could be a little tentative right now, but, you know, Ruby... They like to pick the Ruby, even though it's not my favorite pick. The R-Lot is still available. There's still heavy hitters here. I mean, they could opt to go for the Nana early. And even the Nathan's on the board as well. So there are so many great picks here, but they really have to think about it, because in these drafting phases, I feel like the second team to pick normally has a little bit better of an advantage. And then there's the Nana. Again, mind you, this hero has 100% win rate right now. Like, can Blacklist International keep that percentage up?
They got to give her respect, man. Well, I'm tired of, like, we've been saying it since before this event started. Nana's meta right now, and I think a lot of people have been kind of doubting it. A lot of people have been holding their back, and it's been slowly creeping. First, it was like last picked, then it was like maybe a little bit earlier in the draft, and now it's finally in her rightful position. This little girl is taking over the land of Dawn. Nana, first pick in an international tournament. I mean, but I think it's amazing, right? I think it's a very good pick. Now, on the side of Fire Flux, they're going to respond with the Claude and the Ruby. Now, the Ruby, like we said, questionable. I'm wondering, hopefully they have the ability to maybe flex it around. Yes, I think it's still good. I think it can still be meta, but I think sometimes you need to be willing to maybe move it to the EXP lane if you don't have dive or you don't have something that can really get to the back line and you need some sort of big set tank. Blacklist immediately fire back with the Akai and the Paquito.
Now, the Kai is definitely a signature pick for Blacklist International. They've been picking this up a few times throughout the tournament and the Phygital games. And again, I think it's more of that anticipation that, you know, Fire Flux might pick something like a Bratz or something, or Fredrin. Fredrin's also been on the rise as well. And it also can break that I'm offended for Ruby,
it's
right?
It's a great counter to the Ruby, yeah.
So, like, if he gets snagged, like, you literally just got a giant pinball. Yeah, just boom. It sends them flying, right, on all aspects. Though, I do like this is, again, the Valentina, very, very situational. You're going to have to pick your ultimates that you steal wisely when you're facing someone like Blacklist International.
I mean, the possibilities are there for the Valentina, but we just haven't seen it show up. I think after some past nerfs and with the rise of so many other heroes, is Valentina still as viable as she used to be? A lot of teams seem to think so, but the numbers still aren't there. Luckily, they will get a heavy spin for themselves. They will get a Molina Blitz for themselves. So there is definitely some contention to happen during some of these early turtle fights, and I think it will kind of help Fire Flux here. It's also a fast-moving hero. They can rotate around quickly. So possibilities there, but what it's lacking is kind of the range. And if you pair that up with the Ruby in mid, you're looking at a very tight composition. No range at all, no way to get to the backside. So with the Valentina here, I think it causes even more to maybe put the Ruby into the EXP lane and give yourself a little bit something different in the roam position.
It is true. It is true. I mean, again, I mean, wild enough as it could be, the Kai could go roam. You never know in these situations. That's why they're kind of like the great flex picks. And to build off of kind of what you were saying earlier is that, like, even the Ruby, right, still a great flex pick. Even if it's not roam, it could go EXP. We do see the second phase of bans coming out. They do go for the Bruno. I was actually thinking that Blacklist International would go for the Bruno, so seeing that get banned is interesting, and banning the carry. So there's a few options that Blacklist International could roll with in the marksman lane. They've ran Beatrix before.
I was gonna say, OHEB signature Beatrix, man.
Yeah, they've ran Beatrix before. They've also ran a Clint, so we could see either of those show up, and we're still on that teeter-totter if we're getting a roam or not here for Blacklist International.
Yeah, I think a big possibility we see the Beatrix, maybe the Ixia from the side of OHEB as well. Clint we've seen come up. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about it just yet. I think there are some better picks with nice range. He could also pick something like the Brody. Still plenty of options. It's hard to ban into the gold lane right now. I feel like a lot of gold laners are doing decent in games. Yes, there's like your favorites. You know, Claude has been a very popular pick, but I don't think it's game over for OHEB. Blacklist International kind of thinking, all right, maybe this Ruby will go EXP. We're going to ban out the Minotaur just to play it safe here, which I like that because, like I said, for me, I feel like the Ruby is very flexible right now, and I think Fire Flux, it would be wise for them to flex. It'd be wise to put something like the Minotaur, like a Tig, maybe like a Grok or something that can get that big knockup and help deal and break up the front line of what Blacklist International has here. Now, for the pick on the side of Fire Flux, there it is. They're not going to swap it. They're going to pick up the CC. So they get that. It's been a powerhouse pick. How is it going to pair up against the Paquito, though?
It is true. It is true. I mean, the sustainability there, the poke is there, and just the ability to harass, right? From what I'm seeing from Fire Flux right now, they look like they want to be the aggressors. Again, this is what I've seen that they decided to do quite a bit from what I've seen is that they push Blacklist against the wall. They want to put as much pressure as they possibly can on them and to not allow any breathing room, and hopefully forces Blacklist International to make mistakes. Now, I feel like that's what the CC can do. It again has this sustainability, can poke you and keep you at bay, and it also make you think about a decision if you want to go after them or not. I do. Again, you said the Brody pickup's pretty good. Now, the question I have is, what are they gonna do?
Oh, disgusting.
Whoa!
How do they answer that?
Hold up here. We just got to Estes by Blacklist International on the scene. You were talking about it, the Ube strat. It's a little wild now. We're seeing it with different people on Blacklist International. How can Fire Flux respond to this?
That's the real question, right? They do have the Claude already, so that helps a little bit. I was going to say, do they just go something tanky? Go for something like the Fredrin here? That's what they pick up, but that is tough.
We got the Ube strat. Blacklist International. Again, nobody can pierce their back line from the side of Fire Flux, right? Nobody's going to touch Brody. OHEB's going to be impossible to grab, and that's how I see Blacklist International. Fire Flux, they're going to have to figure that out, right? The response. They're going to, again, if they're going to be pressuring Blacklist International with such an aggressive comp here, we need to see them find the back line. So I need to see pinpoint precision from Fire Flux. They need to be controlling the river as much as possible to keep Blacklist International at bay. And we're already kind of seeing the pressure being applied by Fire Flux here.
Yeah, here's the problem though. Blacklist International, with that Estes, they're looking for that mid-game spike. They're looking for that mid to late game spike even. So I almost want to see Fire Flux not just protect, not just stay on the river, but get aggressive early on. And there's a little bit of aggression up top. Haji is going to get the heal onto OHEB there. Sunshine not able to get any final hits. But if Haji keeps babysitting up here, protecting OHEB, Fire Flux might have to answer that, or Sunshine is going to have a problem. We're going to need to see Apex 47 run up there as well. But now Sensui to the backside, going to get the heavy spin. On to Alien. Alien going to get pinned. This is bad. Will he be able to get away? No. Sensui getting the first blood.
That was a great play. That was a great play by Blacklist International. Now, one thing I also want to set the scene for is that, yeah, Blacklist International has this sustainability Ube strat team comp, and I like it, right? But Kai could displace his team if the heavy spins are used incorrectly by Blacklist International. So we got to keep an eye on that. If Fire Flux can just apply so much pressure and make them make mistakes, it could be huge. We can already see a gank happening down here in the EXP.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see Blacklist make any huge mistakes. That's a wish and a prayer for Fire Flux here. I think they gotta outclass them here, man. They gotta just play better at this point. Alien already a little bit behind, not even level 4 yet. But Fire Flux still goes for the zone. Ooh. A nice IMU, but Rosa goes down for it, takes a Molina Blitz to the face. Fire Flux now maybe forced to back off here. They still want to fight for the turtle. Tienzi holding position as Edward pushes back Alien. The rest of the team goes down, but the Appraisal's Wrath lands and does nothing. God. They lose turtle and are pinned to the wall. Sensui makes the play to grab the turtle.
I mean, I suspected Fire Flux to be the aggressor here, but Blacklist International is showing that they have complete control over this river here. Fire Flux gonna have to kind of think about their situation. The Nana is just putting on so much damage at this point, and it's only 3 minutes into the game. We're 2-0, kind of taking a look at some of the items. Of course, the magic penetration boots picked up by Nana. And again, if the Estes keeps roaming like that, there's gonna be a problem.
Oh.
What? Oh man, Alien.
Edward, man. That Paquito is gonna start hurting. This is not the time you want to go up against it. One of the biggest level 4 spikes in the game. I mean, this guy is packing a punch quite literally. Alien still wants to fight for it, get that last minion, but Edward's gonna flicker in, take the fight under the tower and get the kill. A beautiful play by Edward.
And we just heard the crowd go wild just slightly there. It was quite a gritty play by Edward, but it came out on top, and we can see a huge play at top.
Oh, up in the top, a little bit of trouble for Oheb, but the heal is enough. Sensui now here to help out. Tienzi gonna get pinned against the wall. Drops the Appraisal's Wrath, but still not enough damage. Fire Flux looking for something. Apex 47 gonna try to lock up Sensui, but now they're on the run, and Blacklist is on the hunt. Molina Blitz comes out from road there, able to stun them up a little bit. Sensui, though, still staying aggressive. Apex 47 trying to help out. Sensui taking his time. Blacklist International maybe want to go for some gold plating here. Apex 47 going to lock up Sensui. Sunshine forced the BMI out. They just want to try to defend this tower as long as they can. Blacklist International finally walking away.
I mean, Blacklist International has the gold plating off of the EXP and off of the gold at this point. Economically, they are sound, right? They are controlling the map here. Fire Flux has to respond to this at some point. Constantly, Blacklist is like flowing into Fire Flux, which is wild. Normally, when you flow into them, you're the one that get punished, but not this time around. So I feel like Fire Flux has to change some things up here. We are seeing a first turtle rubber band match starting to engage here, and it looks like they are kind of just waiting and baiting it here, Trex.
Yeah, I mean, Blacklist doesn't have to rush it, right? They can wait for their teammates to clear waves. They can wait for everybody to get here. Fire Flux is the one at the deficit. Sunshine gonna go try to clear and macro up this mid lane. Rosa there as well.
Oh my
TNZ.
God.
Oh my, this little girl, Nana is going to be a problem, and teams need to start respecting it. Literally, we're only 5 minutes in, and the damage is already insane, as you said. But Sensui going to hold down the turtle here. Oheb going to take a tower on the boss side. Edward zoning away at Apex 47. There's nothing Fire Flux can do right now.
They are at a disadvantage at this point, that is for sure. I feel like they need to step back just a little bit, stop being so aggressive into Blacklist, as it's not the response that you want to go with. I think taking more the tactical approach is what Fire Flux wants to do at this point, and they need to get picks somewhere. It's 5-0. Take something, Fire Flux. And we can kind of take a look at some of the items. We can already see this could be why that it's taken Fire Flux a little bit longer to come online. They are building a lot of anti-heal, and that is respectable, right? Building that into the Estes is what you need to do, and I think maybe into the mid to the late game, if it does make it there, is where they're trying to aim for. And again, if they can keep Blacklist International at bay, I think that is their ultimate move here.
Yeah, they're going to cut the lane, though. Take another tower. That's 2 towers down for Fire Flux, and Blacklist is not slowing the pace at all. Sensui gonna cut another one. Take some yo-yos to the face there. That's okay because they're gonna whittle away at a tier 2 already. We're only 6.5 minutes in. I'm glad that Fire Flux isn't being too reactionary. They are trying to make plays elsewhere. They're gonna clear the mid lane. They got to deal with Edward, who cleared that lane as well. Fire Flux has taken a tower in the boss side, so making a little something, but now Apex maybe looking for a play here. Rosa and TNZ there as well. They don't want to force it though.
That was a great combo between the Retri and the Melina throw, but you can see Fire Flux being too aggressive once again. Will they get caught? It doesn't look like it just yet. 18 seconds on the next turtle. They want to make a move.
Yeah, nice. I'm offended. Comes in. Apex 47 not able to secure a kill for his team though. Fire Flux does gain a little bit of ground there. They're able to relieve some breathing space, but still they've lost so much up top, and they're going to have to continuously send someone up there to clear that wave.
And I was wondering about that. I was like, did you overstay your welcome into that mid lane to try to make a play? And they didn't get too greedy, so I like it. I do think that they need to be able to make a play here for this turtle, though, Trex. There's just, man, at least they got one on the board so far.
Yeah, Edward's one we got to keep our eyes on. He is deadly right now. Key position. Does look like Tianzi's going to maybe go back for the orange buff. No, he knows he knows the turtle's going to melt down too fast. Instead, they change pace. Go for Edward. Find the kill. Can Tianzi get to the turtle in time? A lot of damage. Does land down. Sensui able to take the turtle, but Yue on the run. An alien picks up the kill. Finally, Fire Flux making a fight back. Sensui used the heavy spin just to disengage. Haji able to get the heal. But wait, watch, conceal play. Apex 47 looking for a target here. Gets a nice shot onto Sensui there. Alien finally starting to scale. Tenzi able to get the stun. Sensui still up though, down to about half health under the mid tower. Fire Flux taking the fight back to him with a 3,000 gold deficit.
4 people on Sensui with Haji's help was just... It was too much for them. They don't have the burst just yet. But again, I think that's going to be coming into the mid game. I felt like they were losing a little in the early game because they had to build that anti-heal. They have to prep for what's going to be coming into the future, and that is major team fights with an Estes on the field. And we can already see Blacklist trying to now respond back to the aggression Fire Flux did utilize there. And again, I think they need to kind of focus on more neutral objectives, though.
Blacklist, man, the way they're moving around the map right now, just this position is the same thing they just did to the top lane, right? It's the same exact thing they did to the top lane. They come up, Sensui cuts behind the tower, gives enough space for the rest of the team to take the tower. They're not going in for fights, but wait, Apex 47 wants the fight, but they pull in the pinball, knocking everybody back. Sensui able to get his team away to safety. Blacklist International got what they came for. They completely crumbled both off lanes and just opened up the map for themselves.
You know, I almost feel like Fire Flux is playing capture the flag at this point. It's more of how can they get to Haji at this point? Can they take out the Estes is their sole goal? And then the moment you see them attack, all of Blacklist kind of surround Haji into like a circle. And it's just nasty. And Fire Flux is trying every aspect, taking every route they possibly can to try to take out Haji. Now, we're going to see that coming into the very first Lord. I do think this is like, there's a good economical lead for Blacklist International, but the first Lord could be the breathing room Fire Flux needs. So I feel like they really need to contest this. And if they can get a pick here, it'd be big.
Yeah, I think they want to stall just a little bit, give some time for Sunshine to get in position, but it's definitely fightable. I don't know if it's winnable, but they could try to go for a steal. They could take this fight to Blacklist International. We've seen teams get wins with bigger deficits, and TNZ gonna hold the front line. Alien also starting to scale a little bit, finally getting some items locked in. We're starting to see the damage come from that CC. The person they need to watch out for, though, Yue. One big Molina blitz could cause destruction for the side of Fire Flux here. Sensui gonna start zoning away. Haji still has the blessing ready to go, but Road to the backside. Uses the heavy spin with the IMU, trying to split him up a little bit. Yue pops the passive, just trying to get away. Sunshine finally comes in with a blazing duet, but takes a face full of damage. And Oheb goes down. Fire Flux collapses on top of them. The Lord still up, down to about 10% of Tianzi, trying to get the better side of it. Can he make a Sensui? Dashes in. Rosa finds Edward, and the Lord goes down. Tianzi able to take it. Fire Flux with a 4-man wipe. They've turned the tables and taken the game into their hands, but Yue looking for the outplay.
They don't want to let up.
Does find Alien and may get away here. To the mid lane right now.
Rosa
gonna be able to take a tower. Rosa coming down. The outplay. Yue. He does it every time. This man is a god.
What in the world? Nobody can stop the Nana. It is just one after another dropped right there, Trex. But I personally think Fire Flux did come out on a little bit on top here, right? They're going to be able to utilize this Lord again to have a little bit of breathing room. Blacklist now. They know that Fire Flux has come to fight. The gold lead is now leading in their favor. This is insane.
I mean, Sunshine also just picked up the Wind of Nature. He hasn't taken a single death, and before that Lord fight started, I wanted to mention that he's kind of been their saving grace. He's been away from the team for a while, and he has been able to scale, and that's been his job. Just get some gold up. Same thing with Alien. Yes, Alien's taking the 4 deaths, but Alien is back in the game and causing mayhem. Fire Flux with a 2k gold deficit have now taken the lead by 3k and taken away more towers.
And that is what the shutdown is there for, right? Shutting down you was probably the best thing that Fire Flux could have done. Though we could see how just crazy the Nana is. Again, I think Fire Flux is responding very well. They were struggling in the early, but again, I noticed that they were picking up a decent amount of items that would counter the healing that Haji is going to bring into it. Can he keep the Ube strat going? Fire Flux is they're responding very well to it, and dude, that fight at the Lord could have leaned either way, and I think it all came down to Sunshine flanking there, right? And Blacklist tried to respond to it, but it wasn't enough. And again, what was it? Sensu jumped into the Lord, and then I think ended up dying, and it allowed TNZ to secure that Lord. And now Fire Flux has control over the Lay of Dawn.
They do, but just like Fire Flux was able to win a fight at a deficit, Blacklist could do the same thing at any moment. The only bonus that Fire Flux has here is this time there's no huge set potential from Haji. When we look at the case of CC, it's going to come down to Sensui getting a pin, which is tough to get a pin against multiple people. Yes, it could happen, but as long as Fire Flux stays out of the bottlenecks of the map, they should be okay. Next, it's going to come down to Yue, either getting some big stun with their skill 2, getting the stun into multiple members, or a huge Molina blitz. It's definitely going to be tough for Blacklist to pull something like that off, because without that, Fire Flux may be able to kind of control these battles now that the gold is in their lead.
That is true, and I think they might have to utilize Edward a little bit here, right? And we can kind of already see that they're attempting to do that. Is that split push capability, the speed? But look, I think they're anticipating Sunshine's rotation, and we might see a pick here under the Claude in the right lane.
Oh, he knows.
They're kind of feeling it out. They're feeling it out.
He knows. He set the BMI up. He's like, I smell Edward. But wait, Sensui taking a huge amount of damage. Alien is starting to hurt. I don't think Fire Flux wants to rush this. They want to make sure their macro is good in the mid and the bot side. We are seeing Rosa start to rotate down as well. Maybe they're going to look up for a pick onto Edward here. Excited to see how it goes. Two members on the bot side. Edward all alone this time. Rosa there as well. They're going to look for the Terrify. Edward making the great escape up to the top. Back in the turtle pit, though. The fight is happening. Blacklist knows you're down 2 members. We're going to go for this. Alien there. Try to defend. Putting a lot of damage onto Sensui. Sensui taking shots from the Lord as well. A nice Molina Blitz. Does not connect. But there's the I'm Offended onto multiple members. Haji finally forced to use the Blessing of the Moon. Able to heal up. But Sunshine still there as well with the Blazing Duet. Trying to take that heal away. Oheb goes down. He's the first to drop. Second will be Sensui. Yue forced to use the passage just to get away. Rosa there trying to take them down. 4 members drop. Nothing but Haji left on the map. And Rosa doesn't want to let him get away. Haji all alone. Rosa's going to go for it under the tower. One more hit. Rosa not able to finish it. The heal still there, but Alien's here to help out. Fire Flux not going to try to close the distance. Alien jumps into the base. They've got 1 cannon minion, and it's 15 seconds on the clock until Blacklist International has another member on the field. Fire Flux, they don't want the tower. They want Haji first. Fire Flux will take game number 1.
My God, you can hear the stage go crazy.